And I'm excited because I get an opportunity to introduce a sought after speaker, not just in MWR. Not only does he has the president's ear in MWR and the owner's ear in MWR, he speaks across the country teaching and training others how to be better, how to influence people all across the country. He has a master class that he does. Still is a still a full-time father and grandfather now. He is a papa. but takes time to be sure that he is there to help and represent the team. I love him dearly, just like a brother, because he is my brother. Let's give it up for five-star executive director, Mr. Rich Harden. How are you, sir?
Yeah, let's go.
Man,
Thank you, Mr. Harden.
I am fantastic. I'm honored and I am inspired. And before I jump in, let me share with you just some of the ideas that Chuck Harden elucidated just now. He's bringing to light the idea of the intention of what we set about to do Money Making Monday for. Now, many of you might not know this, but Money Making Monday did not start off as a webinar. For years, I was downtown earlier at the Marriott in Buckhead.
Mm-hmm.
And for the years of 2008 to 2011 or so, we held a live event called Money Making Monday. We rented out one of the top hotels in Buckhead, and every Monday after work, we showed up suited and booted, brought the best and brightest people from around the country to come and listen and learn how to make money together. And we intentionally did it on Monday to set the rhythm for the week and to cash in the yield from the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Meaning, if you really think about this, if you look according to the American Heart Association, Monday is notorious as the #1 day when people experience their first heart attack.
Mm.
Oh, gotta go to work.
And it's really in that way, statistically speaking, where any health condition, one would think that health condition would be equally spread throughout days of the week. No, not with the heart attack. And it's because the brain and heart are linked to one another. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
And what you find is Monday, so it starts, the feeling starts setting in on Sunday evening as people were living for the weekend, and the weekend's over, they about to die. They were living for the weekend, but Monday morning they gotta get up and go do. You can hear it in the language. I gotta go to bed because I have to get up and go to work tomorrow. I gotta go do something that my heart is not in, and therefore it turns around and attacks them. Heart attack. Yeah. We really got to be students of the words and the things and the diction. But what we set about doing was building a week where all of the events that happened throughout the week, the phone calls, the invitations, the home, back then we called them private business receptions, but the legacy and lifestyle conversation, cash flow conversation, whatever you want to call it, our small group intimate encounters got filtered and funneled into one place where people had seen something casually, but came together. And like our favorite cartoon back in the day, I don't know if any of you are our age, but do you remember Voltron?
Yeah.
Where there were the 5 lions that were out there, but they would come together and be much more powerful when they consolidated their efforts. Now, here's a challenge that we have. Seasonality. Put this in your notes. Seasons change. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
And if you think about it, one of the things that's changing right now, we're going from spring to what?
Summer.
Spring to summer. How many of you understand that winter, spring, and summer behavior are different? Now, what kind of things are different in the spring and summer than they are in the winter?
Dress code.
Dress code. Yes. Way people dress. What else?
Personalities.
Personalities.
People are out. Personalities. People are out more.
People are outside. Put this in your notes. Length of days. We're like, I'm here in Atlanta on the East Coast. The sun is still up. It'll be up for another hour or so. Versus the wintertime, If it was winter, it would have been dark an hour and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got a longer date of perception that we have more time to get more things done, but the preference is to do them outside. Does that make sense? Now, how do we make that make sense in the context of our world? I want you to think about the ant philosophy by Jim Rohn. How many of you remember the ant philosophy from Jim Rohn? What did he say? He said that ants have an amazing philosophy. It's 4 parts. Ants never quit. They never quit. If an ant is on its way to the picnic and it runs into an obstacle, it'll find a way up, around, and down, but it's going to continue going until it gets where it's going. Yes?
Yes.
Now, the other thing about ants is they may be the most brilliant when it comes to understanding seasons, meaning ants think winter all summer long. They know that eventually it's going to be cold and everything's going to be closed up and food won't be as available as it is right now. So they gather all that they can in the spring and summer with the idea that I have to get as much as I can done while the sun is shining on me, because it will be cold again. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
And
that's
then,
good.
so if you add
Yes.
those things together, ants never quit. They think winter all summer, and they're always in a hurry. They're always in a hurry because they know that whatever season they're in, that season will change. Now, let me ask you a question. If you think about our world, like it, because the same way that we go through the seasons in a year, you know that the world has seasons and cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it on a global scale, if you think about the world that we live in, for most of the past 5 years, during the time that we got started in Make Wealth Real, where was the world? What season do you think it was? Put in the chat what season you think it was, 2019 or so to today. What season would you consider that? That includes the pandemic, another re-election. What'd you say?
Winter's coming.
Winter's coming. It's Game of Thrones like it might have been the coldest winter that many of us can remember. And in winter, we adopt survival strategies. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning we bundled up. We were at one point we were doing 2 or 3 Zooms a day, packed out, because we were in the winter, and so was the rest of the world. So everybody was coming to Zoom as the way to connect with people. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
What's changed?
We outside.
We outside. There's a young man. His name's Carlos Vieira. He's a line dance instructor. He teaches Monday night line dance class. He had 1,000 people in a class last Monday.
Mm.
Boots on the ground is popular right now. People are getting outside and making moves and connecting with people. And unfortunately, as good as we can be on Zoom, the connection that you experience with a person face to face, hand to hand, is going to trump what happens on this Zoom if this Zoom is their first experience. Are you with me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a big pull between them and what's on television or what's on reels or especially what's outside. So as we evolve our culture, we are in a renewed springtime, meaning not only has outside opened the barrier for us to be able to go do events and tours and public and in-person appearances, it's also increased the mandate that there be more presenters that can take out a piece of paper and sketch out the dream. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
You add to that. This is one of the things you want to add to it, is the idea that we have the ability, the privilege to offer people some sets of things in combination that they never would have known about. Like so let me share transparency. Let me break from training for a second just to say, I'm condensing some information from 2 very important calls that I participated in along with Chuck this last week or so. We had our 3-star and above executive leadership call, where the call was for leaders to equip their teams to host the conversation with confidence, to be able to stand and deliver and invite someone to say, with all honesty, I'm excited about a brand new day to be outside and offer people not just a chance to have a good time with me, but to come together and make wealth real together. Am I making sense? So that's what we
Yeah.
talked about. How do we simplify something that, if you're not an investor or a business person already, can be complex when it comes to funding? Does that make sense? I'm just going to say out loud. Being able to acquire financing for the projects I've done in my life, being a part of startup companies, I know that getting access to business funding is a big deal, and most people aren't ready for it.
Mhm.
If you take most of our legacy strategies, 20% of the people that you meet walking on the street are ready to have a sit-down conversation about becoming a personalized banker, becoming their own bank to invest in precious metals. There's a readiness process that we got to be ready to paint the picture of how we go down the yellow brick road together. So part of what we're working on is simplifying the conversation, the process, and the segmentation. Does that make sense? Second conversation is in our Millionaire Makers Council today with Andamo Tolson. Butch Chalia was our guest speaker today. He's the CEO for Fundable 360. And he said, I want to be clear about the process. Most of the things that MWR has done up until this point has been the experts do it for you. You upload a credit report, you upload a tax return, and the experts do work. We're taking people that in many cases, MWR is either their first business or their first business where all of the activity isn't done by them, and teaching them to grow that into a fundable business, because that's a skill. You understand? To be able to attract people to your ideas in such a way that they'll throw $50,000 at you. I want you to hear this. It's not because you paid $249. It's because you've learned and gone through a process that makes you look like business. Does that make sense? Now, is it easy? Is it quick? Is it instant? No.
No.
But the learning and the growth that go with it as you step away from being the 80% who could never, not even never qualify, never know it existed, never knew where these people were getting the money to start these businesses, to becoming a part of the 20% that not only know, but walk, talk, and breathe the walk, and therefore can show people through their example what they've done. Am I making sense? Because what we've got started as small and simple, but it's gotten big in a relatively quick period of time. And we got to be consistent at meeting people at the beginning and walking them up to the place where they're ready to become their own bank, to have their own precious metal repository, etc. Make sense?
Yes.
And the last thing is just understanding this. When it comes to seasons, every season will come to an end. There will be a time where the thing that we have right now that's never existed before, where you have a platform where you can come to the table with the money that you have, get a set of experts to bring it back to you, take that money and then use it to grow money, and even have a profile that allows other people to infuse their cash into your life. There'll come a time where that story's been told. We just got to be ahead of the season and be the ones that are in the winter. We've developed the skills. We've developed the acumen. We know things that we've learned during these game changers and super Saturdays and super Sundays and individual learning experiences that now we got to go outside. Like we built the summer body in the winter. Am I making sense to you?
Yes.
Right.
Put that swimsuit on. Don't strut your stuff. And have a summer behavior about what we do. What does that mean? It's got to be fun to do this. It's got to be that when you separate yourself from the rest of the world on Monday night or Sunday afternoon or whatever time you're scheduling to do your business, that it's exciting, that the prospect that you're looking forward to is exciting to you. What's that exciting prospect? That's the prospect of having made wealth real, built a lifestyle and a legacy at the same time, and inviting people to do that with you. Am I making sense?
Yes.
And the last thing I want to talk about, and this is just important because you got, when it comes to wealth, you've got three primary currencies. Three primary currencies. And if you think about our system, our success system is SYSTEM. Everybody remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Who remembers what SYSTEM stands for?
Save yourself
Save yourself and
Time, energy, and money.
energy and money.
Save yourself time, energy, and money.
Mhm.
Close. We're getting close. We're getting close.
Save yourself stress.
Yeah, just remember
Time,
this. Yourself is
energy,
one
and money.
word.
Save yourself
Save
stress,
yourself
time,
stress.
Time,
Save
energy,
energy, and money.
Energy, and money.
Save yourself
right.
stress, time, energy, and money. The
Energy
S
and
is
money.
stress. It's taking the things that most people process as stressful and removing them by making it systematic. But that time, energy, and money equation are the things that we make the investment for. And I want you to think about it in real terms. Of time, energy, and money, energy is your most important currency. Time is next, in my opinion, and money comes third. Meaning, how many of you have invested some money to have an expert speed a thing up for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We do it all day, every day. I'd much rather trade my time and energy for the crew to roll through and clean up my yard.
You better know it.
Facts.
You better know
It's
it.
what they do. They do it better. We've paid for someone's expertise in that physical arena. Yes?
Mhm.
Yes.
Same thing we're doing with our experts here, but here's what I want you to think about. Your energy is the thing that allows you to change anything. Like if you look across your life, if there's anything that you want to change, it's your wealth, your relationships, it all starts with the energy that you bring to the table and the equation. And if you want to increase your income, there's a couple of things I suggest. So submit, invite. That's what I'll do. I'll invite you to over the next 30 days, because we got 30 days till we hit mid-year. Yes. Chuck did
Yes.
a math for us earlier. He said that July 2nd,
Yes, sir.
July 2nd will be 82 days into 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Over the
Yes.
next 30 days, I want you to consciously increase your energy. I'm going to share something that my mastermind group and I are working on, but it's really just being aware of your physical state. And I want you to adopt an ANTS philosophy about building wealth. If that's something you want to make wealth real. Am I making sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the first one is just thinking about your physical state. What can you do to make sure that, especially as you go out and about, you're in a peak state? Now, there's some things that I have to be conscious about because sometimes I get caught in my head. Anybody ever get caught in their head? And you walking around thinking about something, usually somebody else's stuff in my case, I'll say that. And it'll be written all over your face. It'll have your eyebrows down, a bit crestfallen, to speaking low in volume, breathing low. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
I just challenge you to get into an excellent state on purpose every day. First thing in the morning. Put yourself in a state where your energy is lifted. Everybody, do me a favor. If you're sitting down, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. I want you to think about the way that you stand when you are about to get things started, when you're about to make things happen, when you know that everything in the world happens and starts with the energy that you're bringing to the table. I want you to stand with that energy of that accomplishment. I want you to think about a time where you have won something at the highest level. I want you to bring that energy into your mind right now. How does it change how you're standing? How much different is this posture than when you were sitting down? See, standing up is a simple act to raise your energy. You ever find yourself down, just go outside, put your shoulders back, raise your chest. It's only 2 millimeters difference between shoulders back and chin slightly lifted.
Mhm.
But it's the shift in energy is amazing. Here's the second thing I want you to do. As you're out and about, pick up the pace. Ants are always in a hurry. I want you to move fast. There's something to speed. Success loves speed, but people are always attracted to people that are moving with a sense of purpose. Where you going? To get wealthy. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So for the next 30 days, here's what I challenge you to do. concentrate, focus specifically, intentionally on being in an excellent state when you meet the world. I want you to set your mind on the goals above your head, not the issues that are surrounding you. And when it comes to being the powerful people that you are, remember, we come together on Monday to bring everything together that we've done through the week. But when we get together next week, I'm going to talk about the specific act of balancing acts. Last week, we talked about first things first. Does anybody remember that conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Says
Yep.
that things that matter the most must never be at the mercy of things that matter the least. Here's the challenge. Most people have their calendar and their to-do list in their head.
Mm.
Here's the
Yeah.
challenge.
Gotta write it down.
Here's the challenge. The challenge of having everything in your head. Your brain is an excellent processing unit, is poor at storage and retrieval and moving from one thing to the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Right? If you write down on paper, here are my days of the week. I got 7 days in 1 week. As a matter of fact, 7 days without prayer makes 1 week. That's a different thing. It's 7 days in a business week. If we're calibrating our week to have this be our finish line, that means that Monday through Friday, there's 4 categories of things that we can do with our time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
On and out is what's important and what's urgent. Here's the reality. What's important and urgent is usually an emergency. Business for most of us falls into the category of important but not urgent until we make it so. Does that make sense? Now, there are other categories of things. How many of you know if there's something that's urgent and important and something that is urgent, it's not urgent, but it's important. That's a big category. But there are also things that are urgent and not important. And then there are things that are not urgent or important. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Wait, I have a picture that can show you that. Hang on. Let me show you this. So that you see what I see in my head when I say these words to you. Yeah, bam. If you think about just this concept of looking at your day, writing it down on paper so that, I stopped sharing when I wanted to make it bigger. So that if you can write down on paper, here are all the things that I have to do today and categorize them and put them in their place so that you find the time to save your energy. Because what happens when you got a lot of emergencies in your life? Let me tell you, it's stressful. It stresses you out. It drains your energy. Quadrant 1, if it's urgent and important, go ahead and do it. There's no amount of putting it off that'll make it any better. Yes?
Yes.
Well, possum cleaning is possibly the only thing I can think of. If you got a possum that's dead in your backyard, you might procrastinate on that for a day and it'll get up and take care of itself. Quadrant 2 is not urgent, but it's important. These are the things that we have to plan strategically to build into our week to make sure that we're maximizing our time to make money. Where do we find the time to plan these things? It's usually by getting rid of, delegating things that are quadrant 3, urgent but not important. What's an example of something that's urgent and not important? Most of the time, urgent and not important is other people's emergencies. Anybody ever call you when something is important or stressful to them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I need $25, but I got 17. Can you put something on it? That's no. And then last category, last but not least, is quadrant 4. They're the things that aren't important, and we got to be strategic about eliminating and plan. This is what has to happen. You got to plan something into that slot, or it'll be taken up as slack time. Does that make sense? Now,
Yeah.
here's a trend that I see in my own life. Let me confess my own sin. When I've gotten stressed out by doing a lot of things that had become emergencies because I had not done them while they were important but not urgent, I find myself drifting off into quadrant 4 to numb the pain. Can anybody relate? Is it just,
Mm-hmm.
can we be real honest on this Money Making Monday and get the elephant out of the zone?
Yes.
Those things that you find yourself doing that are not money-making activity, procrastinating, endless reels on social media. You just got to understand that the success is in the daily agenda, and you got to build your schedule intentionally with money making designed into it. Now, for most of us, we got some big rocks in our lives. Yes.
Yes.
I call them by the F's. You got your faith, your family, your future growth, and your fun. You got to put in time for those things to happen and go back to the drawing board about your schedule with a fix on going outside. Meaning, this was my schedule when we had the original Money Making Monday. Do you remember that, Chuck? I had basically 2 nights a week that I was planning to be at somebody's house doing a presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I populated that presentation and the Money Making Monday briefing was through these power hours. I just had time booked up for making calls. And the way that you know that you got time booked out for making calls, you do it together with somebody else. Does that make sense? We do have to get back to some of the ideas of building a culture of accountability where we don't show up surprised at who's coming on Monday, but excited about who we're going to see again. Am I making sense? So build out your calendar in 2 ways. First, block it out. Just know what time you get up, relatively speaking, and what time you need to be in bed to get adequate sleep for you. I'm no longer saying that you got to get 8 hours of sleep, because I have not gotten 8 hours of sleep in 10 months.
Yeah, guys, I was sleeping like 10 years.
Since these babies got here,
Say that again.
Fitbit tells me all the time, dude, you slept like 3.5 hours, 4 hours. But if you go to bed with intention, it turns out that first thing in the morning, one of the things that I do to cultivate, I'll suggest this for everybody, put an hour of power for you on your schedule first thing when you get up. Invest in you. That's your personal development. So my personal philosophy, I did have to remove my phone from my bedroom, put it in the bathroom, right? Plug it up there with the alarm. What you find out is you'll usually wake up 3 to 5 minutes before the alarm. But have your workout clothes in the other room by your toothbrush so that you're already ready to get out of the bed and get into the flow, excited to attack the day before the day attacks you. Now, what else do I do during that time? I do some power posture poses just to get my body warmed up and moving. And affirmations, always listening to or reading something positive, and find some time to work out in the morning. Like, Chuck, what time do you hit the gym?
I get there right at 4:55 a.m.
4:55 a.m. Now, there are several things that happen in that before 6 a.m. time frame. One is a whole lot less chit chat, and there's no traffic resistance. All the lights are green between 4 and 6 in the morning. But now you've already made an investment in yourself first thing in the morning. Now, during my workout, I play my affirmations. I got a playlist. I think I shared it with Angela and William Russell last week. Did y'all get a chance to check some of it out?
I did, and share it again.
But one of the things I learned, it's a priming routine. It's programming yourself, because your mind, how do I say this? We don't experience life. We experience the life we pay attention to. So if we set our intention in the morning on being grateful for the things that we have, because gratitude always attracts more, but also visualizing the things that we want to create during the day, that puts us beyond that person that woke up on neutral or on negative, hitting the snooze button, going back to sleep, hoping their dreams would happen while their eyes were closed. We eyes wide awake, dreaming, getting our blood flowing, get our body and mind in connection with each other. And that makes it easier to move faster during the day. It's not a simple act. It's just getting up early. It's an ancient Chinese proverb, but they say a man that wakes up at 4 a.m. is destined to do his family honor. I didn't make it up, but they got decades, centuries, millennia of culture to reinforce and re-enhance that idea. That I'm going to pause just to say the challenge. Increase your personal energy and your attitude of abundance. That people are out there needing to know what you have learned. Like on this Zoom, I know I've been in the same classroom with many of you learning the same processes.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've taken the winter time to acquire something valuable, we got to let people know that we've got the solution to the problems they've been having. Make sense?
Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
80% of the people, 80% of the people that you're going to come across don't know 20% of what you've got your hands on. Won't just have to be excited about our newest thing, which is amazing. We got to be excited about the whole thing and share the whole story so that we can help the whole world get their results. With that, I'm done because I'm about to get started again. Did that help anybody?
Yes, it did.
Yes,
Sir.
Yes, awesome information.
That was
Awesome.
amazing. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I will see you guys on the beaches of the world, outside at the trail rides, at the line dance events, not just having a good time, intentionally meeting and connecting with people to find out how you can help them other than just helping them have a good time. If the only thing that helping them does is let the good time last longer.
Yes, sir.
All
Peace
right.
out.
Oh man, that was beautiful.
Peace up.
Awesome.
Excellent training,
Great
man.
call. Great call.